There's a song on there called Feel Like a Ship.
Well, send me a trade wind. I don't want no hurricane.
Oh my goodness, just like a monster performer.
We heard the licks, but we've never seen somebody do them. They go, oh, look at that. That's how you do that. That kind of thing.
He was so convinced that this was the way to play it, you just followed him.
He gave every ounce of his being to his music. Just so heavy his attack on the guitar.
Every move you make better be the nice one. The road you take, it's gotta get you home. Well, I feel like a ship, babe, out on the deep blue sea.
Yeah, I love that one.
You know, he's from Fulham. He became a blues fan at an early age.
Tell me stories about how he got into listening to music on the radio late at night when he was 12 and 13 years old, hearing his like American music on the radio, like on all the the blues classics. Scrapper Blackwell, matey. Whoa, check him out.
He was signed to EMI, which of course was the same label as Pink Floyd and all these huge acts that I had admired my entire life. The Beatles and Jethro Tull, and Denis had seen all of these bands perform and even knew some of them casually.
There's a story of Denis meeting Paul McCartney at a mixing board while he was going through the studio to get to his studio, and there was McCartney, and they had words.
He met Lookie's Boat in London. They were there they'd won second prize in a Canada-wide music contest, and second prize was a trip to London to do some recording there. They went over and didn't work out. They didn't strike the chord that Lookie's Boat should have struck.
And then they invited him to come back over to Newfoundland and start a band with him. And I'd say that was in 1971, if I'm not mistaken.
So Denis and his drummer jumped on a plane and they landed in Gander, Newfoundland for the first time in a big snowstorm. This incredible artist who has a record deal in London decides to come to Newfoundland and Labrador. It's bizarre. However, he actually came here to make money. He could make more money here performing than he could in London. Their loss and our gain.
So they were in central Newfoundland for a while, writing and performing. The band was called Mantis, and they did a lot of original material. And at that time, that was a rarity for a rock band in Newfoundland.
We were so sheltered here in St. John's, and everybody was doing cover tunes and stuff like that. And then here's this band from Gander, filled with amazing people and playing some shit-kicking music.
They were a sensational band.
His heart was always into the Delta kind of American, really rough blues, if you know what I mean.
Peter Narvaez was a good friend of mine at that time, and I always think that Peter and Denis really, you can trace the history of the blues in Newfoundland and Labrador to those two guys.
He wasn't a technician in that he was like this sort of fabulous guitar player who could do all these things, but what he did was very honest. What he lacked in technique, he made up in soul.
So many licks I got from him just from sitting, this far away from him and watching him play. He was always, giving me opportunities to shine, and here's some solos here. It's like, take another one, kid,
He wrote and wrote and wrote, and he'd always record them. And he would always send them out to friends.
He would often send me songs at all hours in the morning. And he was still doing that up until his last days. There was a few of us that used to get these late night texts of, the music he was still working on.
3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I go, ding, ding, ding. And then my wife would go, what's going on? Oh, that's Dan sending out tunes.
And then he became involved with the Music Association of Newfoundland. I think it was called the Music Industry Association of Newfoundland and Labrador.
The talent that was here, and he knew it was world class, almost that we didn't know that. So he knew that we needed to get off the island.
If you're going to want to be a professional musician, well then, you got to give up the drinking on the road. You got to get up at 9 o'clock for that bus to the airport to get that flight, because if you miss it, people won't hire you a second time. You're not going to be professional enough.
He and I and Glenn Tilley and Fred Brokenshire and Jeff Dyer and Ron Hines, Deborah Blackmore, a whole bunch of people were founding members.
And then we hired Denis as the executive director. He spoke so well at these meetings, it was kind of obvious the leader here is in our midst.
Denis just would walk into these boardrooms and charm these people, like charm them.
Boy, when it came to defending the arts in Newfoundland, he would pound his fist on the table and he'd call people out, "That's not right." And people would go, "Wow." And he would list the reasons why the funding should go to Music NL, why these programs should be funded, why should we would be and need to be represented nationally.
There's a federal funding program that's available for that, except Newfoundlanders were never getting any of it. Through Denis's efforts with a bunch of other people, he designed the program, or helped design, was the catalyst for designing that program, and then went out to get the money for it, right? And got it.
So essentially that funding made it possible for artists to not only get professional development and to travel and have everything taken care of to do that, but also for an artist or group to tour.
There are hundreds and hundreds of albums that have been made and demos that have been made and tours that have happened because of that money, and that's because of Denis. Right? I mean, other people too. I don't want to take away from their efforts, but Denis was the executive director, and he was one of the people that made that happen.
And that money and that's still there to this day.
Well, hey, doctor, what is ailing me? Hey, doctor.
Oh, God.
I'm getting really...
Denis struggled with his health for many, many, many years. And, he had some heart issues and diabetes and stuff.
You should have seen the outpour we got from all across Canada. Colin James and all of these kind of people, and the Toronto Blues Society. And
I think the outpouring since his death is indicative of the legacy.
Countless people that he has supported and helped, and certainly not just within the blues genre, all across any genre of music, for sure. I was really thrilled when the Music Industry Association named the Industry Builder Award after Denis.
And I didn't realize the impact that he had on me, that he had on so many other Newfoundland artists. When you look at like Mick Davis and Corey Tedford and Colin Harris and all these guys, like it wasn't just, this one case scenario, this is a 12-year-old kid, I'm gonna help him out and give him an opportunity. He did that for everybody.
Denis was doing exactly what he wanted with his life. He was writing and recording and playing his music.
Oh, well, her mind was strong, but her heart was weak. She died in my arms less than a week. Oh, we laid her down, prayed all told.
the guy was so cool. Even to his last days, he was still so cool.